to the Rollup. I'm Julie Indica.
Chris Barr.
And I'm Tylon Washington.
We have special guests today from Colorado. Kathleen Chipine. Did I pronounce that right?
You should. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Great. She's going to talk to us about what's going on in Oregon, Washington State. A new project she has designating a town in Colorado as a cannabis sanctuary. And just kind of fill us in on what's happening in the state of Colorado. What we see on the news may not be what's actually going on behind the scenes. So there we have it.
And it's not.
Well,
it's not.
Okay. You want to elaborate?
I will elaborate. In the year 2000, the voters in Colorado passed our first medical marijuana language into the Colorado Constitution. And 15 years ago, we all thought everything was A-OK in Colorado. And in the last 6 years, we've had three rulings from the Colorado Court of Appeals that say that all cannabis in the state of Colorado is still illegal under both state and federal law. So there is a blackout about these three court cases, and the headlines people are reading are that medical and A64 cannabis. I'm referring to it now like they do as recreational cannabis. I personally don't believe there's any such thing as recreational cannabis. I believe all cannabis use therapeutic. But I'll call it A64 cannabis for the hour here. And so in 2010, from 2000 to 2010, the Colorado Constitution is a self-regulated patient and caregiver model. No interference from government officials, no requirement of licensure by the state of Colorado to be a patient. That's an optional thing in the Colorado Constitution. And the doctors don't set a plant count number. It's self-regulated. The patients and the caregivers decide for themselves. And for 10 years, caregivers operated and were providing the cannabis for the medical patients in Colorado. Everything was working smoothly. Our Attorney General agreed everything was working smoothly. And in 2010, a number of people from outside the state of Colorado, from Wall Street and the collapsed real estate industry, basically came to Colorado and told us in 2010 that they were going to teach us how to sell cannabis, as if we didn't know what we were doing here. So those people came with lots of money, and they basically bought language from the General Assembly, and it was passed on their behalf, and it was unconstitutional. It's House Bill 10-1284, and it started to take a bite at what we believe are rights that medical marijuana patients have in Colorado. The right to not be licensed, the right to not be on a list, the right to use medicinal cannabis whenever necessary. We have no plant limits. But they felt that we were not regulated enough, I guess. Particular people, myself included, in 2009 opened state-licensed dispensaries for patients only. And we went and got Department of Revenue, Real Estate, our retail sales tax licenses. We were open for business, we were paying taxes, and I was not tracking a single patient because I know that under federal law, all cannabis is considered illegal. So under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution and under Leary versus the United States, United States Supreme Court ruling, no one has to pay a tax or fill out a form regarding something illegal because of self-incrimination reasons.
Right.
So everything was working smoothly, and then this bill passed, and it gave the dispensary owners that were open in storefronts with state licenses, paying taxes. It required us to do a number of things, sign up for a new license. They created a special medical marijuana license. And in order to remove our constitutional protections for medical marijuana and our constitutional protection to dispense medical marijuana, I just lost my train of thought there.
Can you explain a little bit?
Was in the regulations, Kathleen, where basically you had to track from seed to patient?
That's seed to sale. Seed to sale.
Yes.
And that is unconstitutional. It also sets plant limits. And as under the Colorado Constitution, patients and caregivers and the people dispensing were supplied by other patients and caregivers. I opened my dispensary with 2 ounces of Northern Lights from my garden, and there was overflow. And I already had a storefront that sold local artwork, but I had lost 75% of my sales in the economic collapse in 2008. So I had the storefront, I was going to close it, and then Obama got elected, and he was petitioning or he was campaigning that he was going to lay off medical marijuana states. So as soon as he was elected, I went and got my license and opened my store. At that time, I didn't grow plants for anyone except myself. And I was supplied just like everyone else in Colorado. Every dispensary through July of 2010 was supplied by fellow patients and caregivers. Anyone could walk into my dispensary, and if you were over 18 years of age and a caregiver, or if you were a patient, you could sell me your overflow. And then I would purchase it and redistribute it to qualifying patients. And everyone at the time kept their plant count under 99, under 100 plants, 99 or less because of federal mandatory minimums. And no one here wanted to be busted, so each property pretty much kept under 99 plants. The new law said that you had to grow all the cannabis yourself for all your patients. At the time, I was one of the largest dispensaries in the state. I had 2,400 patients that I had serviced. And that came to me, and 6 plants per person is what this new law said you needed to grow. And that would have taken me well above 12,000 plants, which puts me in a serious position with the federal government, and my mandatory minimum would raise above 5 years. So I looked at the new law as one of the greatest attempts of a sting operation. And I immediately called all the dispensaries that I knew and asked everyone to just refuse a medical marijuana center specific license. And they changed the name, and that's where I lost my train of thought when I was speaking earlier. They changed. So dispensing is constitutionally protected in the Colorado Constitution. Centers and business entities have no mention in the Constitution. So they removed patients and caregivers' constitutional protections by changing the name of the entity that they were licensing to dispense. And these should not be called dispensaries. They shouldn't have been called dispensaries after 2010. They're centers. They call them medical marijuana centers. So to get one of these licenses, you needed to have, you had 2 weeks to convert your business. Let me just say that. They passed the law, and there was 2 weeks. So we had a lot of people freaking out. They also banned felons of medical cannabis only. cannabis-only felons were banned from owning one of these centers. And most patients and caregivers who were dispensing, a lot of them had previous felonies for cannabis. But felonies in other states, like I have a friend who had a successful dispensary who went 17 years prior, had been busted for 2 ounces in a different state. It wasn't even his. And so he had this felony, but he had to get rid of his business in a 2-week period. So all these extremely wealthy people appeared out of nowhere and started low bidding. I mean, because if you couldn't get rid of your business, you lost it. So they came into our state and bought up a number of dispensaries who were being forced out of business. I try to call the dispensaries and tell people not to sign up, that we already had a state license, that the state can't just simply change the law at this point. They have licensed us to dispense cannabis for medicinal reasons. And nobody basically followed my lead. Everyone freaked out and said, oh no, I don't want to lose everything I've been working for. I voluntarily shuttered my business and created the Patient Caregiver Rights Litigation Project and filed the first of 5 lawsuits that I have filed. No one else has filed in the state of Colorado on behalf of everyone, but I did file 5 court challenges in the last 5 years. And right now we have an appeal in front of the Colorado Supreme Court in the branding codes versus Dish Network case. And that court, I've been trying to get the same clarity from the court in all 5 of my lawsuits. And that clarity is cannabis use for medicine lawful in the state of Colorado? And do patients have rights, not privileges? Because in 2010, the state started to act as if they could take away your use of your medical cannabis. Maybe you got busted for something non-cannabis related and you were on probation, and you were all of a sudden you were losing your right to use your medicine. So numerous things like this started happening because of House Bill 1284. And I'd like to say that bill was co-written by Brian Vicente and Sensible Colorado, and at the time the Stanley brothers, who are being credited on national TV for having created a strain of cannabis that they call Charlotte's Web. Their group, they had a group at the time, the Colorado Medical Marijuana, Colorado's for Medical Marijuana Regulation, CMMR. And the CMMR got together with Sensible Colorado. They wrote up this bill that attacks medical marijuana patients who don't incriminate themselves and participate in an unconstitutional model that's been set up at the General Assembly level. And so now the court, since 2010, since 2007, we have these 3 appeals court rulings that say that medical cannabis is illegal at a state level, which is huge, and at a federal level. I mean, we always knew that it was illegal at a federal level, but not many people understood that it was illegal at a state level.
No. When they passed
so then they passed Amendment 64, and they said it wouldn't affect medicinal cannabis at all. And yet we knew that was an untruth because in late 2010 on CU campus, Brian Vicente and Sensible Colorado and the Marijuana Policy Project, Steve Fox flew in from Washington, D.C., and I have this recorded conference, and at that conference, Brian Vicente and from Sensible Colorado and Steve Fox from Marijuana Policy Project state that medical marijuana was merely a stepping stone, and that now that they for Amendment 64, and now that they had House Bill 1284, this model that they were using that's unconstitutional to regulate the business end of things. Now that they had that for medicinal, they were just going to work on. They were going to write language for Amendment 64, and then they were going to stick Amendment 64 right into the medical model. So I knew there were going to be problems because especially after you read Amendment 64, it treats Amendment 64 cannabis quite differently than we treat Amendment 20 medicinal cannabis. And what happened was it allowed for heavy taxation. And when I say heavy taxation, I'm meaning total taxes on medicinal or on Amendment 64 cannabis right now, depending on where you live in the state, range from 25% to 55% tax. And the state got a hold of all that money, and then they also got a hold of millions of dollars in non-refundable app fees for these Amendment 64 stores. And they like to have all the money, and then immediately they started saying things in the press like medical marijuana patients are no more than criminals who are avoiding taxation and who refuse to be licensed and regulated. And these were all lies. Like I said, because from 2000 to 2010, anyone that had a storefront, of course, they went and got a regular old business license, and they were paying retail sales tax. They're paying. I agree with Jack Kerr that the atrocities that have been put on the American family we can never be paid back from the government for what they have done to us. So I don't believe there should be any tax of any kind. However, in the state of Colorado, all herbs are taxed. And so I swallowed as a business owner and paid that tax based on the fact that cannabis, I was selling flower. And flower is an herb, and it's the herb. And so if the other herbs that I buy, like chamomile, have a tax, I obviously felt that it would be fair until we can establish a nationwide no tax like Jack wanted, and I agree. But people were paying those taxes. But now they called us criminals. They said we were trying to cheat the system, and none of us were licensed. And what we've come up with in the last 5 years, House Bill 1284, is 800 plus pages of new cannabis prohibitions. Okay. Instead, before medical passed in 2000, we had a total of 3 pages of cannabis laws in Colorado. 2010 came before House Bill 1284 passed. We had 9 pages, and that included all the medical marijuana and 6 pages, and then 3 pages that we had previous. Now we have over 850 new laws. I mean, it's outrageous. It's insane. It's inhumane, and it is not what the voters intended when they voted for medical or Amendment 64 in Colorado.
Some of this
because of that,
is absurd, and I can't think as regulated. From my understanding, some of these grow operations have web cameras and barcodes on each pot, labeling item numbers of each plant. Each plant is an entity of itself. That's absurd. I think of all the work that goes into gardening itself, and that seems like a lot of bullshit to tax on to just your average gardener.
Yeah.
Free time.
It is bullshit. And it's their seed-to-sale tracking system, which was set up by a man named Matt Cook. He was the law enforcement officer with a gun who told me and all the other dispensaries in early 2010 that he was going to be our best friend and be in our stores on a regular basis. And I had to let him know that my friends don't carry guns into my dispensary, and that this man set up, took a year. He was hired, for longer than that. He was hired to run the whole program. He took a year and created the rules and regulations that were supported by these wealthy individuals who moved into our state to teach us how to do things. And the day the rules were implemented, he retired and became a consultant to the businesses he had just written the laws for to regulate. And then the next person they put in to replace him. 6 months later was accused of being too tight with the industry because the industry has bought. I mean, they control their money controls the rules and who hears about them and the media attention that we get in Colorado. And they have basically set up a system that creates a monopoly for themselves and excludes 99.9% of the people in the state of Colorado from even participating. We don't have legal cannabis when in order to be illegal, apparently, you need to kick down probably $2 million at this point because you've got to now buy your own buildings. You've been zoned out of all the areas because there was in 2010 there was a two-week period that you got a space or you didn't, and then they banned it everywhere. And so now you need to buy your own building in the proper zoning. And for the last 5 years, you had to grow your own cannabis. Just 6 months, about 6 months ago, that changed, and you can now just grow cannabis and sell it to one of these stores. But again, you're in this overregulated state program that they've created, and you're incriminating yourself with the feds and apparently, according to the Colorado courts, with the state of Colorado itself, which so in this Coates case, Coates versus Dish Network, what ended up happening is Brandon Coates is a quadriplegic who worked for Dish Network, and he signed people up for Dish Network. And he worked there for 3 years, and the company and he agreed that there were never any issues with his work performance. After 3 years, he was randomly tested for cannabis and tested positive. And he said, "Oh well, I have this red card." He had voluntarily registered with the state of Colorado, and he said, "Well, I'm a legal patient. You can't fire me." And the court has ruled that he can. The ruling basically says Dish Network lawfully fired Brandon Coates for his unlawful use of medicinal cannabis.
If you know that someone had if they needed Oxycontin for after surgery and they worked for Dish and they got popped with a random, they showed that person who did their drug test, their prescription, all scot-free, everything, you're fine because the doctor gave it to you.
That's right. The problem is all pharmaceuticals are prescriptions, and for medicinal cannabis, it's a recommendation. So a recommendation does not have the value of a prescription in the state of Colorado. I don't think it does almost anywhere in the United States, actually. However. He appealed the case to the appeals court. He lost in the district court appeal. He lost in the appeals court case. And the Supreme Court agreed to take on this case. I did his attorney immediately volunteered to pay for my attorney, who is I would say one of the best, if not the best, constitutional and administrative attorneys in the state of Colorado. Andrew Reed, who was at Springer and Steinberg in Denver, Colorado, and Andrew is also a professor of law and teaches constitutional law and administrative law at DU Law School. And I've been working with Andrew on the arguments that this guy needed for the last 5 years. I mean, it's the same. This is the problem I was trying to solve before someone was hurt by it. But was unsuccessful because the Supreme Court refused to hear our last appeal. But now we volunteered to take make his arguments on his behalf, and his attorney was uninterested. So I threw the patient caregiver rights litigation project submitted an amicus brief, a friend of the court brief in this case, and we are the only patient advocacy group and only cannabis group involved in this case at all. And the two questions the court is going to answer is medical cannabis lawful to use in the state of Colorado, and do patients have rights? And we're arguing, obviously, that yes, patients have rights because this is medical treatment, and that yes, 15 years after we passed our constitutional amendment, I acknowledge when I read Amendment 20, our medical language, back in 1997, and then it passed in 2000. I knew that the language wasn't clear and concise, so it didn't clearly legalize it, and it doesn't clearly grant rights to anyone. However, for 15 years, well, at least for the first 10 years of the program, the state of Colorado, for the most part, acted as if cannabis is lawful, and that patients had rights. And so now the unfortunate thing in this Brandon Coates case is my jaw dropped when I read Brandon Coates' arguments, and then I went to the oral arguments, and I was stunned. Mr. Coates agrees with the state Colorado and the appeals court ruling. He agrees that we did not legalize medical cannabis in 2000. He agrees that his client, Brandon Coates, has no rights. And he concedes that federal law trumps our state law anyway. So basically, Brandon Coates, who's appealed this case, he's appealed the case to the Supreme Court, and it was stunning to have the justices in his oral when they gave his oral arguments. The justices, after 15 minutes, were very upset with his attorney, and they didn't understand why he was conceding these things in front of the Supreme, in front of us. He made the appeal. So Mr. Coates asked for a very limited ruling from the Supreme Court, and that was not defined in his brief or in his oral argument. So we can only take that to mean that he's asking the Supreme Court to only rule on if it's lawful for quadriplegics who have phone jobs to use medicinal cannabis. He's not arguing that we legalized it, or that his client has any rights of any kind. He also is citing a state statute. It's called a unique state statute because it's unique to the state of Colorado. And this statute came about in the 1990s. Many of the businesses in Colorado were firing people who smoked tobacco on off-work hours. And so the General Assembly passed a bill that says that you cannot be fired from your job for any illegal activity you participate in outside of your work hours. So he's arguing that since Colorado has this unique state statute, that Brandon Coates cannot be fired by Dish Network for using medical cannabis when he's not at work. And unfortunately, the Supreme Court was really accepted this case because they were intending on ruling on whether or not medical cannabis was legalized in 2000 by Amendment 20, and whether or not patients had rights. So it was rather shocking to see the guy appealing this concede that we didn't pass medical marijuana, that we don't have any rights, and the federal law trumps.
Do you think that there may be a bigger... Do you think that there might be a strategy behind that, or you think he's been brought off?
I'll be honest with you. Chris, when I read the brief, the first thing that came to my mind was, and this guy's been doing all three times he went to court with Brandon Coates. It's all pro bono. And I couldn't understand. I feel like he's been paid by someone to honestly throw medical under the bus. And get rid of it because the state and the industry really likes to talk about how much money they're making off of Amendment 64. And once again, the medical program is now being looked at as like we're lying cheats and tax evaders and criminals. That's another thing that House Bill 10-1284 did. The Colorado Constitution protects anyone that voluntarily signs up to be on the state registry. The Constitution instructs the state health department to do two things, and this is all that they're supposed to do. They're supposed to process your application if you voluntarily register. They don't get to judge your application. They don't get to make any decisions. They need to process it at the cost of the processing. They can't make a profit off of it. And number two, they need to keep the registry confidential. And for the first decade that we had Amendment 20 passed, the health department used to brag at all the meetings that the registry was on a computer that would never go online. And it was locked in a room, and only 4 people had access to it. House Bill 10-1284 started the seed to sale tracking, and there was no way to do the seed to sale tracking. You can only grow in that law. You could only grow cannabis plants if you were a state licensed medical marijuana center, and you had to list to prove that you were selling only to patients and growing only for patients. You had to take all your patients' medical records and basically give them to the tax man, the Colorado Department of Revenue. They created a group called the Medical Marijuana Enforcement Division, the MED, and so people's HIPAA, everybody's medical records and medical information was being violated. And now they spent $4.2 million of the registry money from the medical patients, and they've hooked up a computer system, and a bill they just passed just a month ago in May requires all caregivers to register with the med where the grow is and who their patients are, and it's completely unconstitutional, but it's happening. And our confidential registry, which is constitutionally protected, and this is serious. This is no other medicine, no other plant, there's no other substance that has this confidentiality protection in the Colorado Constitution. This is above and beyond HIPAA. And it's all been ignored, and everyone's been violated. The registry has never been purged. So people like myself, I never registered in 2009 because my husband said if I was going to open a dispensary, he wanted me to have a card. So on his behalf, I registered. And I registered again. And it wasn't like I was outing myself because open activist 25 years here. Everyone knew I was a patient. So I really didn't feel like I was incriminating myself. But I know others didn't think they were incriminating themselves. But over 275,000 people have voluntarily registered in the state of Colorado. And no one has been purged. Instead, when your year-long license expires, your protection doesn't expire under the Constitution, but your year-long license expires. You don't get put from the system. You get put in a file folder that says expired licenses. And now that entire registry, everyone who's ever registered since the year 2000, is going to be kept by the CBI, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, in the Colorado Crime Information Computer System, the CCC, which is hooked up to the NSA database. This is everyone. This is over a quarter of a million people's medical information, personal, HIPAA protected and protected by the Constitution, is out there for the NSA. It's out there for sharing. And this is all being done in the name of helping law enforcement know who's legal and who's not. And honestly, I mean, 5 years ago, they also started doing they would call them knock-in talks. And they would just walk up to people's houses, knock on the door and say, oh, well, we heard you're a patient. We'd like to come in and count your plants. Well, once again, people don't understand the law. They don't understand they have rights, that somebody needs a warrant to come in and do that. And they allow people in their house. And now it's just... The other thing House Bill 1284 did, if you wanted to shop in a medical marijuana center, you were required to get a card. If you don't have a card and you're a patient, you're not even out into one of these facilities. So instead of an option, it almost became a mandatory, catch-22 registry, because you can't shop. And there's a lot of people who don't have the time to garden. They don't have the knowledge to garden. They don't want to take the risk to garden. And they were coming into dispensaries like mine, and it was no problem. Now they have to go register. People could come into my dispensary with the doctor's recommendation only, and that's all that was required. But according to the Colorado Constitution, no paperwork is required. You just need to have some kind of a medical history in your medical records. And that's only if you get busted. You need that for court.
Now, let me see if I get this straight. The law that was passed in 2000 was a constitutional amendment, right? And they came back in 2010, and the legislature just made laws. They're not a constitution, but it's just a law. The law.
Yes. Is there an attempt to rewrite our Constitution and tell people that the statute is more important than the Constitution?
Now, in the Coates versus Dish case, has there been any talk of using the actual 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, where this guy's saying that Trump...
Use that.
Why can't they use that?
Okay, let me tell you. You can't use it because the court has ruled that we didn't legalize at a state level. Okay, so if it was a state right, we had to have clear language.
The nomenclature in your constitution already that exists already. You say it's in your state constitution. Anybody who is fighting this based on federal law trumping that constitution needs to go back to law school, basically, because the entire point of the 10th Amendment is to reaffirm the nature of our federal system, which is democracy. It gives states solid rights to anything that our U.S. Constitution doesn't touch on. So inherently, just based on your previous 2000 amendment to your state constitution, Mr. Coates shouldn't be up on this case at all, and his lawyer should know this, just standard knowledge.
No, his lawyer conceded that we didn't legalize at a state level, so you can't.
I know, and the people saying that.
And the authors, the other problem. There's no other explanation. He's either completely ignorant or he was paid off. But the problem is he's accurate that Amendment 20 doesn't legalize. Okay, the word legalize isn't in Amendment 20. It isn't clearly legalized. He is right on that case. However, the state of Colorado has been allowing been allowing the media to, and they themselves market this to the world that we've legalized. But if we had legalized, then these A64 stores would be able to use banks. If we legalized, the IRS 280E code wouldn't apply to these stores. The authors of Amendment 20 are the same authors of Amendment 64. It was the Drug Policy Alliance and the Marijuana Policy Project. And I went to the title board hearings for both. I recorded them. And both and asked, so they were both given ballot titles that said that the voters were going to legalize. And during both hearings, they testified, the authors of the language and the proponents testified that they did not intend to legalize it at all. And that the language is intentionally doesn't legalize. And so you can't go and say right when the authors, the proponents, and the state attorney general and the state courts are all saying you didn't even legalize at a state level. And they are correct. What we can agree to, and what the courts have basically ruled, is that we decriminalize small amounts for qualifying patients. Okay, so that I can agree with. We did decriminalize. At minimum, I'm arguing that we actually legalize, okay? Because the state has allowed this marketing and this propaganda to go on for 15 years. You can't come back now. But another case before codes that I appealed was Jason Boehner versus the ICAO. The ICAO is the entity in Colorado that cuts an unemployment check, and it's a state entity. And Jason Boehner was a street sweeper in downtown Denver for years. His employer says he was an A+ at his work performance. He failed a random drug test. When he failed, they use of illegal substance. So he went to the state of Colorado and applied for an unemployment check. Okay, because he felt he was unlawfully fired for his lawful use of cannabis. The state of Colorado, they said you don't qualify for an unemployment check because it's illegal use. It's still illegal at a state level. So that's the case I appealed to the Supreme Court with these same arguments, and they refused to take the case. But so as it is now in Colorado, and this is everywhere in the United States, it's in Alaska, it's in Washington, it's in Oregon. You still there's a problem with the word legalize, okay? Because in the court of law, the legalize doesn't. Yes, we've legalized the fact that people can get a state license and sell Amendment 64 cannabis. But in the court of law, the word that we need to be concerned with is lawful. And legalize and lawful are two different things. It is still unlawful, according to the court, to use cannabis. Okay? So if you are busted for using cannabis or cultivating, you can still lose your employment, your child custody, your gun rights, your unemployment benefits, any government aid, your housing, your banking, your insurance of any kind. You can lose your right to do an adoption, to be an adoptive parent. You can lose your right to an organ transplant. And you can lose your assets through civil forfeiture, and you can lose your freedom. You can still go to jail. Everett was a sign. There were a lot of doctors who were willing to sign. No, if I was a doctor, I'd be checked. I probably wouldn't be signing a single form because they've actually gone after in the state of Colorado probably the top 20 doctors who sign the most recommendations. And these doctors have been threatened with loss of their license to practice medicine, and a number of them have been found guilty of criminal activity and thrown in jail and lost their license. So if cannabis use, cultivation, possession was lawful, none of these things would be happening anymore. Okay? But they are still happening. And there's another curious fact here, and that is the Amendment 64 stores are not allowed to use the banks because of federal law. Yet the state of Colorado under tens of millions of dollars of what they call themselves in their brief in Coats versus Dish Network, illegal money laundering, okay, of drug monies. They have collected, I think it's over 100 million in monies that came from what they themselves and the federal government say is illegal. And JP Morgan Chase Bank somehow the state's money, but nobody else can, I mean, we're talking trimmers who get paid from us, this facility aren't even allowed to use the bank anymore to deposit money.
Wow.
Where does this leave the citizens? Where does this leave the citizens of Colorado, and what could be done? And in terms of rights and privacy, I want to go back to that a little bit. Shouldn't someone have asked, like, why have a registry if it's going to be confidential anyway?
Well, I mean, we asked 1997 is when Ethan and Drug Alliance brought the Amendment 20 language to our state. We had to sit down. At the time, there were activists that were hardcore on this. The reason they came to Colorado with this language after Prop 215 passed in California is they did a poll, and they realized how good of a job we local grassroots activists had done in Colorado, and realized that they could pass their language here in our state. They submitted the language in 97 about a week before we found out about it, and they sent, I believe it was Erling and someone else from DPA out to Colorado. We met in a room at CU at the college, and we presented a list of about 30 issues we had with the language they were going to present. And they basically, one of our issues, the language initially said that you could grow 6 many leaves on them. Okay. And even tell people they can grow plants. There's no lead to grow a plant. And they said, well, they never that this language was merely symbolic, and they never intended for it to be implemented, is what they said. And we begged them then to keep it out of our Constitution. You don't put symbolic language in any Constitution. And of the 30 problems we had with the language, one being having a registry at all. The only nugget, I say to us, was they said, okay, you can have leaves on your plants. So, according to them, and I have that meeting recorded also, and according to them, this language was never supposed to be implemented. It was merely symbolic. And so we're dealing with Remington's at 15 years later. I mean, it's very sad, but it will be resolved with Coats versus Dish Network. This court will make a ruling, and it will set national precedent. And if the Colorado Constitution, if a constitutional amendment doesn't apply rights and protections, then no language passed in the United States provides any choice either. And since there's no differentiation between medicinal and recreational at a federal level, when we talk about this, even though the Coats versus Dish Network is a medicinal case, it's it's not even just a medicinal case. It's a cannabis case, and the feds say all cannabis is illegal. So it will impact. Now it's of interesting catch-22. So I the appeal was accepted by the Supreme Court, the Coast Versus Network, and I read their brief, and that freaked me out. So we supplied our own brief. Once I saw that they were conceding we had no rights, and we didn't legalize. I made 30 days after my brief was submitted, and my brief, by the way, was months late. I can't. Since Amendment 64 passed, everyone spent tens of thousands of dollars on lawsuits. I have no money. I have not had an open storefront in 5 years. I've been waiting for this court ruling, or the high court rule on this. And I had no money, so I almost didn't get a brief in. But the court did accept our brief 30 days late. After our brief was handed in, 30 days after that, the Attorney General for the state of Colorado submitted their brief. And they didn't even need a brief. They just wanted to throw one in after they read mine. And they argued the second sentence in their brief says, contrary to popular perception, Colorado voters did not simply legalize medical cannabis or recreational cannabis for adults over the age of 21. That's the second sentence. Contrary to popular perception. The last sentence in their brief says, if Colorado, I'm quoting this one, I did quote exactly on the other one. This one is an exact quote. But if Colorado voters intended on or want to legalize, they need a brand new constitutional amendment. Okay, so the state's position is that no cannabis is lawful in the state of Colorado. So I read that brief and I freaked out. And I filed another lawsuit in Denver District Court with Attorney Rob Corey, who handles a lot of the cases here in Colorado. And Rob filed, and I have two other proponents, or plaintiffs in this case, two other patients in Colorado. And we went to Denver District Court and basically said, okay, if the state believes this is unlawful activity, then the state of Colorado, governor, the Department of Revenue, the Health Department, and the Med are all under the Controlled Substances Act itself an ongoing criminal enterprise. And they are actually profiting and laundering drug monies under the Controlled Substances Act itself. And according to the Controlled Substances Act, there's a section which was added in the early 90s, I believe, because cartels just got bigger, and so they wanted to go after the big boys, so they added this section B, and it's about super drug kingpins. And super drug kingpins are people who have five people working underneath them and launder more than $10 million a year through the bank. So this qualifies our governor, Hickenlooper, who's laundering tens through J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, the Department of Revenue, the Health Department. All these people should be, if the state believes them, they themselves should be charged, and super drug kingpins get life in prison, no possibility for parole. So we filed this lawsuit that says, based on the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, based on Leary, the United States, the state cannot force anyone to fill out a form, or pay a tax, or incriminate themselves in any way.
Well, this sounds like a huge mess. And I have to go. I think we're gonna have some overtime. It's like 5 to 10. This sounds really, really messy. Where can people go to see or download these briefs? What can people do? What are you encouraging folks to do to get involved on a grassroots level? And by the way, you're listening to On the Rollup on the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. I'm Tylon Washington with Julie Indica and Mr. Steva and Chris Barr. And we're here with Kathleen Chippy, right?
Chippy.
Chipe.
Chipai.
Chippy.
Yes,
Chipai.
people can go read about people can go read about the legal issues at cannabislawsuits.com, and they can read the briefs themselves. And in my own community, what I've done is I've written cannabis sanctuary ordinance so that we can pass something to protect ourselves. And I'd like to read the ballot title, and this is what we are going to be doing here in Colorado. This ordinance would declare the town of Netherland to be a sanctuary for all persons who use, possess, grow, cultivate, distribute, or sell cannabis for medical or spiritual purposes. The ordinance would prohibit the town of Netherland from using funds to enforce laws regulated with the use, possession, cultivation, distribution, or sale of cannabis if said use, possession, cultivation, distribution, or sale of cannabis is for therapeutic or spiritual purposes and does not constitute an intentional, deliberate, or reckless act that causes harm to another person or another person's property. So that is what we're going to be putting on the ballot in our local community this November, and the voter will have a chance to give them some kind of protection. And we've modeled our language off of sanctuary ordinances that came about in the 1980s for people who were coming over the border with no documentation. And we're able to live like Denver is a sanctuary city for people who don't have paperwork to be in the United States.
Well, thank you so much for your work. And
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But we're in the middle of a war that's 78 years long, and until all people can use cannabis for all uses, there's a lot of work to be done, and we're so far from it. Knowing in Colorado what they call legalization, really 850 pages of fresh new prohibitions on the tree of life. The goal here is to get rid of what's been going on. Just tell the truth. I mean, at this point, it's inhumane, it's unscientific, and it's against the will of the people to continue this lie, this 78-year lie about the tree of life.
All right, well, thank you so much. My name is Tylon for the GoPro Radio Network, fastest growing network in the galaxy, and this is the Rollup. And I'm rolling out.
Hi, and we got a few more minutes left, and Kathleen, really thank you for coming on to sharing all that and the mess that's going on in Colorado. But in the end, there's one thing that we really do have that non-legal or unlawful states don't have. We still have access to a lot of products they don't have. And one that I want to tell you about tonight that I've received some samples from is everybody always thinks about marijuana, cannabis, weed, smoking, lighting up that joint like Kathleen's doing right now, or we got our vape pens that we love, we have our bongs, and we love our, and now I love dapping, you don't have to get totally stoned down on that, you take little ones, and it's nice, and it helps relieve a lot of pain. But another area where we have great access to some good medicine that doesn't get you high is topicals. And a company called Mary Jane's Friends, and MaryJane'sFriends.org on the internet sent me some samples of their pain quencher lotion, which is, I wish you could smell it, but it's lovely. And I've been having a problem with my knee this year. It's pretty painful. I've gained some weight because I can't walk as much. And so the first time I tried it, I actually used their frosting cream, which really isn't marketed as a pain reliever, but I used that on my legs really just for moisturizer. And a few hours later, I noticed that my knee wasn't hurting. I'm like, wow. So I talked to the gals there, and I said, I like the frosting cream, and I used it on my legs. It's really nice moisturizer, but it actually helped me with pain in my knee. She said, well, yeah, it's a pain quencher too, but so they're only available to people in California, unfortunately. So you really want to work hard to end prohibition in your state. You could have access to a lot more of these products that we don't have access to in our legal states. And they don't get you high. You don't always have to be high to benefit from cannabis. But there's nothing wrong with getting high. We all enjoy that too, and certainly it's good when you're dealing with a lot of pain or sickness and disease. They also have oil. And this was I thought was very unique, and I haven't tried it yet, but it's like a deodorant stick, but it's for relieving things, like you rub it on. So that's kind of a unique product. And then the other one that I really like is they have a facial kit. I'm not doing facials, but I do like the moisturizer, very sensitive skin. I've been using it for 2 weeks, and I don't know if you can tell, but I have like wrinkles. So it's maryjanefriends.org. If you're in California, definitely a really good topical to check out. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Yeah,
You bet. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you're very welcome.
And if there's any questions, people can email us through the Rollup, pass them on to Kathleen, and get them answered for you. It seems like there's a lot going on there in Colorado, and you need to be paying attention before they take away your rights, and that 800 pages becomes 2,000 pages, and your head spins, you don't know if you're legal or not, or unlawful.
Absolutely. Ask questions and not let police search your belongings without a warrant.
Yeah. Do not volunteer. Just say no.
Never volunteer anything.
Just say no.
Guess it works both ways. Well, I guess that's been the Rollup for tonight.
All right. Well, everybody have a good night. And thank you for listening.